best in the West. We got two great coaches. I think we all honor Brian Dutcher for what he's accomplished at San Diego State in 8 years as head coach. Prior to that, as the right-handed man trusted to Steve Fisher. We know what Mark Few has done. Here come the Zags. They are loaded. Gonzaga averaging more than 95 points per game. They're 3-0 on the season. They start a front line that goes 6'10", 6'9", 6'7". They can all score. They got two guys in the backcourt. Between them are averaging 28 points per game. They're big. They run. They convert. Their game is transition. And that game starts at 7 o'clock tonight. You go outside the back door, you smell burnt rubber. That's probably Gonzaga going up and down the floor.
Yeah,
that's who they are.
They're fast.
That's going to be
fun. Aztec fast.
Now, Aztecs got their hands full because their bigs are a little bit overwhelmed at this point. The only equalizer is State has proven right now they can shoot threes. They made 18 threes against Occidental. That's Occidental. But they're going to need threes to stay in this game. I hope it's not 81-52, but it could be 81-52 because the Zags are really that good. Hey, we've had a lot of dialogue about the NBA TV contract, and all of sports is signing new TV media deals and bringing streaming into the mix. And we know about the disaster. NBA signed Amazon for a streaming package. TNT, which had the rights, sued, said we had a right to match. And the NBA came back and said, you don't do streaming. You don't have a right to match the Amazon thing. TNT sued them. They just settled it out of court over the weekend. This is really interesting because did you know Charles Barkley was finally told what he was going to do? Charles Barkley became a bargaining chip. Charles Barkley,
really?
He was running his mouth saying, you screwed this thing up, TNT. How dare you let us lose our job, blah, 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 blah. And he said, we'll keep this together. Well, TNT still owns the rights to This Is the NBA pregame show, postgame show with Sir Charles, Kenny, the Jet, and Shaq.
Okay.
They have sublet this lawsuit. They have taken the NBA show and they're subletting it to ESPN and ABC. They will carry it. TNT owns it. They will sell it. They will make profits off it. So the NBA, in trying to get out of this lawsuit that TNT filed, says, okay, this will be the financial settlement. You can keep that inventory. You could sublet it to ESPN. ESPN will get the ratings because they'll have Shaq and Sir Charles on the pre-post show. TNT is going to get the volume of money because they'll be able to inventory it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then as also a byproduct of this, TNT also had another contract with the NBA. TNT handles the club's digital accounts, websites, things like that. They do all that. NBA is allowing them to keep it. So the NBA said, okay, this is the way we'll financially end this lawsuit. You keep, this is the NBA show, you can sublet it, and you keep digital so you can make money off it. So everybody's happy, though TNT won't have any games. Isn't that fascinating the way that thing worked out?
It worked out nice, I think.
And Sir Charles was told this is where you're going to work.
Well, yeah, because I think, everyone likes that pregame show, and it doesn't matter what network they're on.
Exactly. You'll find it. So that's the latest there. One other note. We deal with a lot of athletes and we have to cover a lot of stories. Some of them are great, some are really stupid. Please explain to me why LaMelo Ball would do this. TV interview over the weekend talking about Charlotte-Milwaukee game. He used a homophobic slur when talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks superstar.
Yeah.
He got fined $100,000.
What an idiot.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, God. He apologized this morning at the shoot-around for saying something stupid, but used a homophobic gay slur to talk about Giannis, one of the superstars and good guys in the league. What an absolute jerk. And there are people like this that we have to live with.
I mean, just like, you should learn by now that
you think?
Yeah. And have a filter. I mean, just generally speaking, when you're in front of a microphone or a camera, you kind of have to have like a second persona that's a little bit different than your regular persona so that you're above board on all this stuff. But what an idiot. Loving the NBA, on TNT. I like that pregame show. And Ernie Johnson, he's coming for the ride too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a great crew. I love those guys. So I'm happy that they still keeping them together. But the Aztec game tonight, man, it is going to be lit. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be jam-packed. The show's going to be there. Everyone's going to be dialing it up. Have you heard any news about Miles Bird? Is he going to play?
He was on crutches this weekend, did not practice. He was out of the boot, but I don't see how he can play. And Brian Dutcher said on Friday, if he's good to go, he'll go. But we have to keep the big picture of the whole season.
Yeah.
If he goes and aggravates it or can't operate on it and further it makes it worse, what's the value? So if he has not practiced at all, so I have great reservation not to even use him right now because that evidence is significantly high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can do it. I hope he can pull it together. But you said they've got those big games coming. Is that this coming weekend?
The following week.
The following week. Okay, so he's got another 7 days or so.
Yeah, before they go to Vegas for the tournament when they play Creighton and they're huge, big scoring forward, and then they play Oregon, and then maybe they play Tennessee. So they got three big games in Vegas. So you don't want the season to get away from you because you asked Miles Bird to play and then he re-aggravated the ankle. I always take safety first as it relates to players.
Well, how about, just think about all the different characters are on this roster. You got Nick Boyd, who came over from FAU, and that kid has a great, a three-point shot. He's a great leader, like a Lamont Butler.
You got McKinney and all of his grit and his anger.
Yeah.
The USD transfer.
Yeah, so he's experienced playing Gonzaga. And then Magoon Guath. That guy is special.
The potential is right there in front of you. It's not here right now tonight, but you can see it and say, wow. Now, I hope they can hold on to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, he might go into the transfer portal again, too. And then even like Pharaoh Compton as a freshman and Taj DeGorville, they've shown a lot. And gee whiz, you still have Miles Heide. There's a lot of guys there. They could make this thing interesting. But I'll tell you what, I remember Graham Ike when he played at Wyoming, and that dude was good.
And he's, the most unique thing, he stayed. He could have gone to the NBA 2 years in a row, and he stayed at Gonzaga after he left Wyoming.
Well, now he might have a shot at the NBA if he has a good year.
Yeah. So that's where we are. You get basketball comments, feel free. Jump on board.